Michelle Hammond, and I am listening to the Lunchin with Lisa show. Come on in and join me, y'all.
You are now listening to Lunchin with Lisa show.
Well, all right. Hey, this is Prince Dejour, and you're listening to the Lunchin with Lisa show. You gotta love it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Lunchin with Lisa. This is a really special show, like the others, of course, but this is actually kind of special because, well, first of all, we have some guests that are with us today that they done had us on lockdown for almost a month, because that's how the ladies in tech do it. So I'm excited about bringing some more co-authors on this amazing book, and everyone has been really enjoying the conversation about ladies in tech. So I think this was a perfect idea to kind of close out season 3 of Lunchin with Lisa, because as you all know, we are coming to the end of season 3 with Lunchin with Lisa. Next week is our last show of the season, and we have some special announcements. So it was kind of cool to close out with the ladies in tech because they've been hiding because they working. But we bringing them to the forefront. So I'm gonna give you a little tidbit about what I'm working on before we get into talking to our guests. So I want to remind you all that I've had a couple of book projects that I'm working on. One of them is I was co-author, well, I shouldn't say forward author for Women of Virtue Walking in Excellence, a 52-week journal by Visionary Dr. Tashika Green. It is out. You can hit me up for a copy. It was an amazing experience. I am a journal lover, and this is my first opportunity to be a forward author, which is a huge, huge responsibility. So I'm really excited about that. So please hit me up. Check it out. There's another book that I'm working on. It's with Visionary Kiva Murdahl. It is Imperfectly Fierce and Focused, Rising Above Your Imperfections While Still Crushing Your Goals. The exciting thing about this book project is that we are actually already, as the publisher, we're already slated to help her to publish this piece. But I was so intrigued about this particular project that I decided I wanted to be a co-author too. I didn't want them to leave me out. So I'm actually a co-author, and we're doing the publishing. And I know it's a lot to take on, but I was down for the challenge. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be coming out. So please stay tuned. I'm also working on part of a TV production. If you all have never met Dr. Gail Crowder, she has a Bringing the Sexy Back to Your Marriage conference that she does every year for the past 8, 9, 10 years. I go every year. It is an amazing experience, but she's actually building up a new project, and it's a TV show called Dr. Gail on Love, Sex, and Marriage, and I'm part of the production team. So please look out. I've been posting some, we're doing Indigo, some things to raise money so we can start production this fall, I believe. So stay tuned for more on that. I'm hoping that we will be able to get you to check that out on TV. And then I have a couple of other things that are going on. If you all know, and I think we'll talk about this more when we close out, but you all know I published my baby, The Power Shut Up, and it has grown into a symposium. So every year, this is actually the 3rd year that I'm doing the Power of Shut Up Symposium, and I bring some speakers to the room, and we have some real conversations on how we can start to learn how to understand each other, communicate more. And I'm not just talking about with a significant other or your spouse. We're talking about with your friends, on the job, with your kids, spiritually. Just talking about the power of words. It's just time we just do better with how we communicate with each other. So I'm encouraging everybody to go to Eventbrite and check it out. We have some amazing speakers that are going to be there. Donnie B Got the Beats is coming. He's a music producer that's coming all the way from LA. We have Dr. Tanoa Hampton. If you all don't know her, she is amazing. We have Nigel Birch. If you all have seen a viral video going around over the years called Black Woman, he is the author of that. He is an amazing speaker. We have Victoria Holland. Nigel's actually coming from Canada. We have Victoria Holland, who is actually a master coach, and she's coming all the way from North Carolina. So we're excited to have her. We've been working on many projects, but we'll be able to meet each other for the first time in person. We have Prince DeJour. If you all listen to 92.3 and 102.7. He is on every Sunday, I believe, 3 to 7, if I'm not mistaken. He has been one of the speakers with the Power Shut Up Symposium for the last 2 years, and he is joining us again this year. And we have Dana Hutchinson, who is the chief editor on my online magazine, Dove Style Magazine. And these are some powerhouse speakers. I promise you, you're going to walk away with some huge nuggets. So I'm excited about it. May 13th. 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go to Eventbrite, get your tickets, and come join us. This is the first time we'll be doing this in person. We have some amazing talent that's going to be joining us. So if you all are from the DC area, you all know Nonchalant. Her song was 5 o'clock in the morning. She's going to be there on the ones and twos, but she's also going to give us a special performance. We have Sylvia Traymore Morrison. You all have got to know who she is, but she's the first female impressionist. She does an amazing job. She's coming to bless the room. And then Corinthia Cromwell, if you love the saxophone, she is the first lady of sax. And she is coming to bless us with the sounds of her wonderful talents on the saxophone. So please come on out. We have giveaways. We have some special announcements. We have a lot of things going on that day. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Whoever don't make it, y'all gonna be missing out. I'm just telling you. And I'm not saying it because it's mine. I'm just saying it because who can't learn from the power of words? So I'm just saying. So without further ado, I actually wanted to bring on my guests. They have been here for the last few weeks. We have some amazing co-authors. They've been really sharing about how ladies are showing up in the technology world. I have learned a lot from meeting with these co-authors. Kenyatta is the visionary of this wonderful book project, and these ladies are fire. So I'm glad that you all chose to come on Lunchin with Lisa and end out my season 3. So I'm really excited. Plus, I'm going to learn some more tonight, as I've done for the last 3 weeks, about how we show up in this world that they said, y'all don't have no room here. They said, oh, yes, you do. And they came in hard. So we've had like 3, 4, 5 co-authors on each show. So they come deep. Just let me tell you. So Kenyatta, I'm going to start off with you so we can kind of do a round table like we've done before. And first, just share with those who may have missed the first 2 shows that you all came on, and share with us why choose to do Ladies in Tech.
Great. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having us. First, when I'm hearing all these wonderful things that you have going on, I'm ready to start jotting things down so I can make sure that I'm in the place. But you are very busy, and I see you doing some wonderful things. So thank you. And thank you so much for having us on your show for the 3rd or 4th time. So yes, we are glad to be here, and so honored to be a part of the Lunchin with Lisa family. So Ladies in Tech, sharing expertise for a successful career. That is the name of our anthology. And being a lady in tech for the last 25 plus so years, I always wanted to think about having a resource that could help you get through or navigate through the workplace. Right. So different things that women face, and not just in the tech world, but also in most positions, most especially positions that may be in a male dominated field, of some things that we need to know and to keep up with, of how to be in a better place in our mindset, how to be in a better place of understanding who we are and what we are doing. Ladies in Tech, we are even though we make up almost 50% of the US workforce, we're only 26% of the tech workforce. So it's not many of us out there, but we here wanted to, us 20 ladies that are authors in this book that have almost 400 years of experience. We
Wow.
wanted to share our stories. We wanted to share our experiences of being a lady in tech. So yes, there are some challenges that we have gone through, but this book is to help ladies that may have similar challenges get through those challenges. So to help them with things like imposter syndrome, to help them with things like learning what your soft skills are and that how they're transferable into most positions. And how about work life and home life balance? If I had
Mm.
only have known
Mhm.
salary negotiations and interviewing. So some tips and advice that we have ladies that have been through what some of the ladies in tech that are currently going through is to try to help them as much as we could. So these ladies have so many wonderful stories. And as I was been reading through them, I'm just awed every time I go through it. So the readers are in for a treat.
I have only with the co-authors that have been on the show thus far, I've been learning a lot. Like one of the things, and you brought up some powerful areas in technology that I didn't even think about. So when you brought up the fact that I think someone earlier had brought up about fashion, because we're in all facets of the world doing all kinds of things, and some things we're not connecting to technology. And I didn't even think about it until someone brought it up on a previous show and said, yeah, like with fashion, I was thinking fashion with technology. But if you think about it, everything that we do is connected to technology. And I didn't even think about that until you ladies came on the show, and I was like, that's right. And I think I might have on another show brought up that even when we were doing some work with the house, the siding on the house, that I was totally fascinated when, I didn't even have to go outside and look at where the siding was going to be. He was able to show me the house in 3D and twist it around and show me what color and where it was going to be in about 5 minutes. And I was like, what? Okay. So, and to know that we have women in that area, because you do usually see men when you're working with technology a lot of times, and we don't realize that, women are representing big time. So one of the questions I'm going to ask to the ladies is about, because there are some challenges with women being in this lane, if there's anything personally that you came across, and why push through that, because I know it can be discouraging. But I did want to start off, Kenyatta, and thank you so much for doing this, because I think, like I said, just the hour that we've had on the last 3 shows, I'm just encouraged by myself to find out, like, I don't know. I've been touching some things. Like Shariva and I talk a lot about technology and doing the shows and things like that. And I'm always scared to push the button. I'm just scared because I don't know what's going to happen. So, and she is the button person. She's like, push the button, push the button. But I think that that's the thing. We got to not be scared. So what could happen? I always feel like I'm gonna blow something up, or everything's gonna shut down. But I'm trying to be braver now, because y'all look, you gotta do it. You gotta learn how to do this technology thing, or you're gonna be left behind for real. So Marie, I wanted to start with you. We're just gonna go around, but tell us, and I know a little bit about your story, but tell us why it was important for you to be a part of this book project, because this is permanent. This goes out to the world. And really showing and shining your light on the fact that you are a woman in technology.
Yes.
Why yes?
Well, Lisa, and thank you so much for having us here tonight. When I saw the title of this book, I'm a title person, and it had my colors. And I was like, you know what? I got to call Kenyatta. We have been, socializing in the background. And when I saw this, I just thought this is going to be powerful. I know as a woman in tech, some of the things that I experienced, and as a mentor, some of the questions that I get from my mentees, there are so many opportunities for this book to help someone. And so I wanted to be a part of that. And to me, it's historical in that the types of individuals that's in this book and the experiences that they have had, it can just be a resource for so many. So I'm glad to be a part of it.
Absolutely. So Sabrina, the same question is to you, like, why be a part of this book project? Because I will say that I don't think that I've seen any book projects or collaborations that are doing this and bringing the light to ladies in technology. So, why your yes?
My yes is because of my sister from another Mr. Kenyatta. Today is like our friendversary. I am celebrating this woman who is powerful from the day I met her in Philadelphia at the Hugh Tech Summit. And so we have history. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. We have herstory. And
That's
so
right.
that excites me because as soon as I saw her book project, I had just completed my first anthology book project with the same book coach, Dr. Cheryl Wood and Dr. Les Brown. And so when I was like, oh, yes, anthology, I know what that is. I know what that looks like. I don't, that's not something that would scare me. And, we look at this thing like we become business partners for life because she's like, y'all, I'm not going nowhere. And I'm always coming back at her like, you ain't going nowhere. So I get to hold her accountable. And that is why I said yes.
I love that. I love that. Dr. Noel, because I'm going to get into y'all business in a minute, so I'm going to go back around. But Dr. Noel, why your yes on this book project about ladies in tech?
Yes, thank you for asking. Thank you for having us once again. Much like Sabrina said, I met Kenyatta Powers-Rucker. And we actually turned out to have a Camden, New Jersey connection. I know her father, I know her mother-in-law, and their business. I'm actually on the board of that business, and I thought about this, and I said an anthology. Now I'm a previous author, but the power of a group doing this, it was compelling. And then we had to limit our words to a certain number, right? So that means you can't make it complicated. Anybody can access this information. It's not going to be a textbook. It's not going to be something you didn't want to study in school. It is so approachable and really relatable to other areas. But just to represent for, I've been out here 36 years. Well, can we edit that? Can we edit that part? I was a
It's live. It's live.
I was a child prodigy.
I love it.
I said, well, no one ever asked me. My goodness, never thought about it. Do it every day, but it can help someone. It's a mentorship in its own with all those years, 400 some years of experience among us. So,
well, look, when Kenyatta said that number, that in itself was like, wow, because I think people don't realize. Like I said, you all are kind of in hiding. Maria will get this, but you're kind of like hidden treasures. So you out there doing your thing, but nobody necessarily knows, and you ain't got time to explain. For real. Because I'm thinking with technology, we really don't have the time to tell you what we're doing because we're busy doing it. But I've never seen anybody do this, and this 20 women in technology in the years in this area where we're thinking that it's a struggle. There's some women are here to share with you all that, it may have been challenges, but we do exist. So one of the next questions, and Kenyatta, we can start with you with that I want you all to share with people is like, what was the most challenging thing that you came across and still wanted to push through? Because you're talking about, like you said, 25 years. So I'm sure you're on the other end of this where now you're encouraging other people to get there. But what was your challenge in the beginning when you were maybe like, I don't know?
Yeah. I would say my biggest challenge in the beginning was that work life and home life balance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was that type. I was coming in early, I was leaving late, I was taking work home, I was doing all kinds of things. And I know that it suffered in my home life. And me being a single mom at the time, it was, sacrificing time that I guess I always felt a little guilty about, of being able to spend with my son. And so, but it was just understanding that you don't have to work around the clock, right? To prove who you are, to be who you are. And now I definitely have been trying to encourage a better understanding is that, and home life is definitely important, and home life comes first, regardless,
That's
right?
right.
Because it doesn't matter your work life, you as we all know, they replace you in a heartbeat, right? And then your home life is still in uproar. So I always encourage people to take their home life very serious, and not to or have it overcome with late hours and taking work home. And it was because I really liked what I was doing. I was so in love with my job, and I really liked what I was doing. I didn't see how the impact
Right.
all the time. I didn't see the impact, but now that I look back, it's like, yeah, I could have done a lot better. A lot
Get
better.
it. I relate to that. And that's why I like that you say this book is not just about technology necessarily, but any job, and that balance between, especially with technology, is very demanding.
Yeah.
And I remember being in those areas where I've kind of, tapped into a little bit, and having to be accessible at all times, and which kind of steered me away from that area, because I was like, look, because I look, and I know I'm saying this now because I'm close to retirement, as we talked about earlier, but I didn't want to be the essential worker, because I want to be able to be off when I want to. I want to be able to take leave like everybody. I don't want to be special. I just wanted to be a regular worker. But I did find it difficult when I started like the online magazine and all the other things that I was doing. You're right. You get so caught up because you enjoy what you're doing. And I didn't realize I was always going to some kind of event, or, having something to do. And I had just gotten married. So my husband was looking at me like, what are we doing here? So it's hard to just walk away from something you love to do. And I did have to take a break. I had to make some decisions on, home is first. So you are speaking my language, and I had to let it be known to those people I was working around and say, look, I mean, I take it too far, y'all. I do. I take off my birthday. I also take off my husband's birthday.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I want to be available for whatever comes up. I can do it with no plans at all. Because I'm like, okay, I'll see y'all later. But I do get it that that's probably a challenge for a lot of people, especially women in technology, because it is such a demanding on-call kind of job sometimes. So Maria, tell me what kind of challenges did you have? Because I know you all are in different areas within technology, which I was fascinated with too. So tell us a little bit about what your challenges were, before you just said, I don't care.
Absolutely. As a lady in tech, I'm in the engineering career field. And what was really, really, I would say surprising is the amount of, pushback I got. Being sometimes the only woman in the group, the first thing they want to know is who is the boss. Of course, that's me. Or challenging your technical skills every single day, every single project. And so, as Kenyatta said, you got to be on your game all the time. There's no releases, no, making a mistake. Even though I tell my people I mentor, fail fast, recover quickly, and move forward. But as an individual, you're telling yourself, "Oh, I gotta be the one. I gotta be on point. I can't do this." So early in my career, I found that to be a challenge. But as I developed rapport, developed, my skills in dealing with people who might challenge your experience, or the one I like, what school you go to. They always want to, find out what school you went to. And when they find out where I went to school, they stop it in their tracks, because sometimes in this world, people will find a way or try to find a way to make you feel less than. And I'm here to tell you, you got to come in every day with your armor on, your Wonder Woman cape, superhero cape, you know what I'm talking about, Lisa, and be ready to do your job, stand up for yourself, even if nobody else will. Because when you do it for yourself, that will open the door for others to say, I guess she knows what she's talking about. And they'll feel comfortable. So for me, I was already comfortable with myself, but making others comfortable and feel like they could stand up for me, even when I'm not in the room. So
How about that?
yeah.
I like that, because I guess that, gaining that respect that you're due automatically, but you have people that are going to test it, and being strong enough to stand up to that. But I could imagine, because even in the world of you know and like I said, I just kind of put my feet in it a little bit. But even in that space, I did feel the energy of that, I know more than you do. So, go ahead, share your little bit of information. But for real, I think the sentiment was that, okay, well, I'll let you share, but then we're going to make the decisions on what goes, because we know best, kind of thing. And you all probably run across that quite a bit. So Sabrina, I wanted to ask you, what was your challenge? Like, what area are you in, and what was most challenging for you, that you pressed through?
Yes, so thank you so much. I am an expert in business applications and software development. So I started off coding, and I've always been a coder. I started coding in the 80s. So my love language is the language of tech, and it was very natural for me. I'm a smart girl, air quotes, which basically means in a room of men, when I'm the only squirt in the boardroom, they either love me or they hate me, because they don't want to not be the smartest person in the room next to the smart, cute black girl. So that was always my challenge.
Wow, that's a big one. That's a big one. That's like dual, triple, issues. And yeah, I mean, even if you're not talking about technology, people are always trying to, show that they're, smarter than everyone else. So when you get in that field, it's definitely this competition that you're not asking for, but automatically you're in a competition. And you're like, all I did was sit down. Like, all I did was sit down. That's all I did.
Correct. And I'm qualified. I am qualified.
Absolutely.
Y'all asked me to be here, that kind of a thing. So I
That
really
part.
appreciate the fact that it's 3 layers to it, if you think about it. So the challenge is sexism before racism for me. And then it's the pay equity and the gender gap, because there was no one that looked like me in a position of leadership that could bring me up along with. And so I missed that in the 80s, the 90s, when I was ready to go and work at NASA. It was like, oh, where are the hidden figures? No, they hiding. That's why you can't find them.
Right. Right.
So
I love
here,
it.
though. We are here to stay.
Yes, y'all. Look, y'all are here. I know at Lunch and Lisa they here. Lunching with Lisa they here, 20 strong. So I did want to go to Dr. Noel, because then I want to get into maybe just a little bit, because I know we're not going to share a lot, but with your chapters and why you chose this particular area to talk about. But Dr. Noel, what was the most challenging from you in getting into this field?
Before I ever got out of school, I was challenged.
I bet.
Professors that would, frankly, you wonder if they left their hood in their office.
Wow.
Asking the entire class, if I ask a question, does anybody else need to know that answer? But I'm from Camden, so so the thing about that is, you're not going to do that. Plus, I'm paying your salary. I'm at your office hours bright and early. Hello, how are you? How are you today? And how are you tomorrow?
She said, what you not going to do?
What you not going to do?
Right.
Right. Right. And let your buddies know, let your cronies know. Um, and it was like the folly of youth that I was in aerospace engineering,
Oh,
putting
nice.
satellites up on spacecraft that was launching in the 80s and 90s. And I just was really so into loving what I was doing. And I had a Black Professionals Network that was
Mhm.
sort of my go-to. Like Sabrina mentioned, I had a hidden figure named Norma Myers, and I went to her when I was becoming a single mom. And what do I tell my manager? She said, "Do what? Tell him what? He's not your daddy." You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
I had to just get my legs, and then from there, having a track record and production, like you really can't. You would want to mess with excellence, but then that's gonna cost you some money. So which one are you gonna do?
I love
Capitalism still gonna win out. So then what we
Right.
doing?
I
And
love it.
so from there, I went into further male dominated architectural engineering and construction. And
Mhm.
so we made the plans, and we're on the site telling the architects what to do, what not to do.
Mhm.
I got a dress on and I got my cute sandals, and but it's just, and that area really um grew my confidence in a lot of ways, because I was able to just learn the art of building rapport. It's more like who you know. And now I've been in banking, PMing software development projects at the vice president level for about mm, 17 years.
Okay.
So that has seen a lot of development in terms of IT. If you have Wi-Fi, you can work from anywhere. And
Right.
that kind of influences the relationships you have. So it's sort of people that can keep their word and produce excellent product. Gotta respect them. So
I love it. And I can even talking to everybody who's been on the show, Kenyatta, all the co-authors. There's a certain, um, and I'm trying to figure out the right word. I know confidence. When you said confidence, Dr. Noel, I was thinking about that. But there's a certain word that the way you carry yourselves. It's like I'm just really sure about what I know. That I know what I know, what I know. So it's that kind of energy that I'm loving right now. So I wanted to ask you all. I think this is the area where I feel like that we're trying to encourage not just young ladies, but young men to go into this area and not be intimidated by some of the things that you all were challenged with. So one of the questions I asked before that I really would love to hear from you all is, and Kenyatta, I'm going to ask you this question: What would you tell a young person who's maybe wanting to get into this field but is a little intimidated and not really wanting all that, like, hey, I want to do this and I really love this, but I don't need that, because it takes a certain strength to be able to deal with, and it's going to come. It's not like you can say, well, you can duck around it, or maybe if you go this way you won't come across it. You won't come across it. So what would you tell a younger person who's headed in that direction?
First thing I do is get off mic, but but the first thing I would encourage anyone, no matter the age of trying to get into tech, is to understand the different types of careers in technology,
Mhm.
because there's so many that's different, and they're not the same, and you could really like one and really hate the other. Right.
Okay.
So sometimes, and it really depends on the person. I knew that I was not a coder, right? I was not the one that I like the idea of trying to make a move and something works, right? I like that part of it. But the sitting down of it and being around it all the time in coding, I knew this was not for me. I'm too much of a social bug to do that. So, but there's so many different pieces of it. You got to find what you like. This isn't, to me, in any job, and is of finding that piece that fits you, fits your personality, fits your character, because all of it may not be it. But the one thing about technology is, because they're so different, there's some different types of the career types, is that if you don't like one, you just go to another. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay. It's easy to drop one, find another certification, and go to another. So just find what you like to do, rather than just doing. Well, I know I get that sometimes you got to do what you got to do in order to do what you need to do. But that was my big encouragement. Find that niche in technology that you really like to do.
Right, because it's in every area you could think about going into. So if you love technology and you love whatever it is, find that space that connects them both and do your thing. I get it. So Maria, what would you tell a younger person who's, headed down this path, but a little bit intimidated by what comes with it?
Just like Kenyatta said, you've got to do what you love. And sometimes it's not always like that. You might start a job and really, really not enjoy it. I too, like Kenyatta, coding was not my thing. I spent a lot of time in the coding lab redoing work. And I knew if I had to do that every day of my life, I'd be pulling out my eyelashes. So I definitely try to find something I like. And as she said, if it's not for you, keep moving on. But one of the things I like to do when I'm talking to my real young folks, you know me, Lisa, I love the game of chess. And chess helps you build confidence. So that's what I teach young folks. I say, find something that you're good at, even if it's not in a technology field right away. Finding something that can help you build your confidence will help you to do other things, and it will give you the wherewithal to not be afraid to try something new. I don't know how many times when I talk to young folks, they say, "Oh, I'm scared. I'm afraid." I said, if you don't do it, how do you know you can't do it? And the most important thing, they need so much encouraging, no matter what. Encouragement is key. Someone to tell you, yes, you can. You can do anything and you can be anything that you want to be. That goes such a long way in building confidence and showing folks, our young folks in particular, that we believe in them and that we believe in what you're about to do. And we're here to support you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think, and I'm taking some of this in because I'm thinking about what I wanted to hear. And this is as a grown woman. I wasn't even young, but working in the government and having an opportunity with one foot in that area and then one foot in another area, and I had to make a decision because I couldn't blend them both. I was doing them both, but they kept saying you can't do them both. So I was like, where do I go? Because I kept hearing I kept hearing these things about, well, if you go into the technology side, the competition is fierce. You're going to be coming up against young people that are just getting out of school and they got all that drive. And, I was old. So it's like, when you get a little older, you have a different kind of drive. So it's like, are you ready for that? And I thought, I don't know. And I had to go with what was comfortable for me because I'm a words person anyway. English was my major. So I went, but my mother was a chemist. So I had a little bit of that going on, but I was like, nah. If somebody asked, I would love to help out. But I wasn't sure I wanted to do this all the time because I was intimidated. So it's like I was that young person that, would have loved to hear what you all are sharing to kind of push me a little further and not be so scared of what was to come. Because back then there was no encouragement. It was kind of like a defer you to something else because this will be too much for you. And I think a lot of young people kind of fell into that boat. And I like that you all are bringing them back. Like, you can do this. And you all are very confident about, look, y'all making me feel like even at 55, I can do this. Like, what y'all got for me? I'm coming. I know how to, like I said, I'm old school with the typewriters, and at some point I had to get to the point where you need to learn these laptops and things like that. I will tell you, and don't judge me. Please don't judge me, but I've been so scared of even using the Mac versus the, HP or Dell or what. That's intimidating. And I said, I don't want to tell nobody, because they'll say, what is the problem? But it's a whole different setup, and you got to have that technology, because I talk to everybody who's like in that tech area, and they're like, what is the big deal? I'm like, I looked at Mac and I was like, they don't even line everything up right. But it's all about being able to accept change, and technology changes like this.
Hey, Lisa, can I share something with you?
Uh-huh.
In my senior year in college, we beta tested the very first Apple Mac. In fact, my senior project was done on a Mac, and you're talking about someone being unsure. It lost our entire senior design project because we hit the wrong button.
Oh, see,
and we
that's
had
why I
to
don't push buttons. That's
we
why I don't
we
push
had to.
buttons.
That's why I'm telling you this. But it's not scary, because again, we're all technologists. We're gonna
Right.
make this right. So we stayed up. We got it all done. We did our presentation. But can you imagine that I beta tested the very first Mac? I had that 128K walking around with it in our classrooms, because that's how they came. They came so you could carry them around with you. So, in this field, you get an opportunity to be exposed to the next thing coming.
Yes.
And
yes.
so if I could share a little more, think about that, how you could build your bank knowing what's coming next. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, you get that front seat. I know that's right. So Sabrina, look, because I think Kenyatta and Maria said it, and I'm gonna say it too. Yeah, I just think it takes a special person to code. And every time I used to hear anything in that area, I was like, oh yeah, ain't no use in talking, because I have no idea what she's talking about. But it takes a special person, and it just seems like it's so much. But tell us a little bit about, what would you tell a young person who's really interested in coding? Because I'm thinking with all this gaming.
Yes.
That's all of that. So what would you tell a young person?
So I actually host boot camps and STEM camps for middle schoolers, high schoolers. And so our 100 Girls of Code here out of the Conyers location, recently we did a event for about 100 girls that weekend. And the young ladies, I did an example and a demonstration where we got to do the Google Doodle. Y'all know when you go to Google and the Google Doodle is up at the top?
Yes.
I taught them how to do that. So then it became a fun activity while learning to code, because they used Scratch. Y'all heard of the coding platform Scratch? And it teaches the basic skills to even a 6-year-old that was in the class that was able to complete the task.
Wow.
Yeah.
6 years old.
6.
Okay. I don't know if that's making me feel better.
Yeah, it should make you feel wonderful, because
I'm thinking they got something on me.
Looking at the prompts, and it's saying drag the yellow X to go with the blue square. They know what a square is, and they know what a yellow X is, and it's telling them verbally. So at 6, you don't have to know how to read, but you need to know how to listen to follow instructions. How about that?
That's fire right there, because if you can start, that's why I love this, because if kids at that age can start catching on to something like this that was so intimidating. We didn't even get introduced to this kind of stuff in high school, and you might have gotten to it in college, but it was rare to even have. I don't even remember classes like that in high school when I went to school. Not trying to age me, because it's been a long time since I was in high school. I'm just saying,
yes,
they had home ec and, things like that. Yes. They didn't encourage this kind of stuff. So this is cool.
Yes, so the hackathon we're planning for next year
A
in
hackathon.
2024 with the 100 Girls of Code. We have the Business Women Empowerment Project. I am their technologist, so I come in with all the various technology boot camps. We've done everything from social media because I've got my second book called Social Etiquette that talks about the etiquette of social media and technology and how some of our special education babies actually need the assistive technology and how that's different because, yeah, they may be glued to the phone and eating a phone sandwich all day, as my chiropractor calls it, right? And getting that text neck. But then you got to understand, what is that? That is actually a tool. It's a learning tool. So when you start changing the mindset of those people that otherwise don't know the power of tech or understand the power that an educator can now use and bridge a gap between that student that's failing because they're on the autism spectrum and them being successful simply because you allowed them to open Office 365 with immersive reader that day that read the text to the baby and then asked the questions to the baby and then the baby passed the test.
I know that's right. I ain't mad at you, Sabrina.
So
Look, I'm learning something right now because I'm gonna recognize something now. If I'm sitting in another room with some tech people, I'm catching some of the lingo and the words. They gonna think I know what I'm talking about. Cause I'm like, oh yeah, I know a little something, something.
Well,
Um,
listen, I'm gonna invite you, Lisa. We have
yeah,
a nonprofit called Lopo Lopo, which means lots and lots, just prosperity. So, some engineering friends of mine and I, we have a nonprofit for women to just have a safe place to ask tech questions. I mean, basic.
that's right.
What's this
wow.
button do? I've been trying to drag the X to
A
the
safe place to ask, right?
That's
yes. It's just really gotten off the ground. We formed it up in Martha's Vineyard last summer, and it got a lot of good responses so far. How to compare your instructions to what you need to do, how to Google for what you want and understand and interpret. But there's some certificates out there for you, Lisa, in IT. You could be an IT by next year, honey.
Y'all gonna yeah, look, y'all gonna have me. That's a challenge, and I might go out there and do my thing. But
Well,
Doctor,
you said
huh?
something about the youth, the younger
Uh
people,
huh.
and all that. Yeah, but they still don't have no wisdom half the people. They
that's
They
still
need
true.
have.
they still need
That's
us.
They
They
true.
still
still they
need us.
still
So
need all that. So that's where your soft skills and what you can learn just by being taught through the courses and certifications that are out there. Used to take
well,
4 years of school. Now you can do it 6 months.
well, and I will say that technology is to me a great bridge for generations. I've even noticed, on the job, a young lady that I work with is millennial, and then even working with Shariva with this, I love that young energy and she keeps me up to date. I know Shariva laughs at me behind the scenes with some of the things I come up with, like, Lisa, that was so long time ago. That's not how you do it now. But I think that is a good way to bridge some of these gaps between, the younger people that, because they're in a world where technology is like regular, and we're, like, slow down, give me a minute,
That's right.
don't throw too much on me at one time. But Dr. Noel, before I ask you all, like, how can people get in touch with you? We're gonna also have a TikTok moment, but tell me, what advice would you give a young person that's, getting into this area? What would you tell
Yeah,
them?
absolutely. Number one is you can do it. You have to
Hmm.
believe that. And the I analyze, sort of how I was able to, because I tell you, there were times coming out of getting an engineering degree that it was touch and go. But to find a support network, I was a part of National Society for Black Engineers, and then IT, NSBE all day. Um, and then, you know, South Jersey has a IT network. Find networking groups that meet outside of work hours and get around people who are doing it. You'll see, well, wait a minute, I could do that, and build your network. And then people will also find a mentor. But I was able to find someone who was about 10 years ahead of me. I just watching, just asking questions the whole time. So
that's pretty good mentoring. And I like what you said about sometimes it's just as simple as putting some young people in the room and just letting them see what it looks like. I know when my son was younger, there was, of course, he wasn't a fan of it, but I was like, you going? But it was like a Saturday program for young men. It actually was geared towards just young men because they were trying to get young men into the STEM area. And it wasn't until they got there and got a couple of Saturdays in and they started to, do some of the projects. I think it was led by the Kappas or something, but they did an amazing job with these young men. But they did the astronaut stuff, and they took them on field trips and things like that. And some of these young men had never even thought about doing something like this, but just putting them in the room, having the conversation, and then saying, check this out, was all some of them needed, to, get interested in it and then push it forward. I would really be interested to know how many of those young men went into that area. I know my son, as far as these games and things, they know things that I'm not sure how they know this stuff, but I think it's some of that they're using. So I'm always fascinated with technology. But you all are making me, I'm going to go out there and check out some stuff. It's going to be all y'all fault when y'all start something else. Like I need to add anything else to my plate, but I am encouraged. Absolutely. But what I wanted to do, because I want Kenyatta, you to share some of the information on this book when it's coming out. You all have a big launch event coming out. So give us some of the information so we can make sure we get some books in these people's hands. You're on mute. We got you.
Yes, so tomorrow is the Ladies in Tech book launch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we are officially launching the book. We are also having our bestsellers campaign. So, yeah. Yes. Thank you. So we are definitely hyped and excited about that. So bestsellers will start early tomorrow morning. Our book launch is tomorrow at 6:30. They can see on my Facebook page is the link to register for the book launch. And we'll also, and for all of us and everybody, we'll share their contact information as far as of where to find the bestseller. It'll be on our pages tomorrow of the link to be able to buy the Kindle ebook of the Ladies in Tech book. So
how exciting! This is exciting. I didn't realize it's tomorrow. Okay.
Yes.
And anything on this, please feel free to tag me, share it on my page, Lunchin with Lisa page, my page, so we can make sure people are there. I'm going to make sure I get my I'm going to make sure I get my copy. But this is exciting.
Yes.
So how does it feel?
Oh my goodness. So, although I've been in a few anthologies as a visionary author, I got nail biting and excitement all at the same time. So but I am confident that we are going to make it with no issues. But we definitely looking for support of all that we can get for tomorrow and to attend the book launch tomorrow night. So we will also be pushing it tomorrow night. But that doesn't stop there. We have a Ladies in Tech book tour. Yes, so coming in May 17th. We have a few of the ladies that's going to be going to California, Long Beach, California, to speak at the Wonder Woman Tech Conference. So
yes, I think Sabrina,
and Maria are going to California. Yes, are going to California on May 17th. So we'll have a Ladies in Tech panel. We're also having a Ladies in Tech Network Summit come June 24th, and that's going to be in Arlington, Virginia. And we are also working on next plans for maybe having something in Atlanta. And I've also been looking at Philadelphia. So yes, we're having a Ladies in Tech book tour around the U.S.
So I said this when you set up the dates for this. I said Kenyatta comes to play no games. Okay, she came hard. I said she done locked in a whole month. And then you locking in a whole bunch of states and amazing. My sister might be interested in that Wonder Woman thing. She's a Wonder Woman fan. But I'm so excited for you all. This is huge. I mean, me being a publisher, I'm always kind of giddy about these moments because it does feel a little different when it's your baby.
Yeah.
It's a different feeling that hits you. And I'll say with every book, whether it's mine, I know some people, they're looking at me like, this ain't even your book. I say, I'm just so excited because this is to do something. That pen to paper is just, is powerful.
Yeah.
And it's permanent.
Yeah.
Long after the world has changed and gone through different changes, this will always be there to let people know not only what you went through, what you got through, and what you're doing, and where we were then. That's powerful. So I appreciate you all for pouring into this project and sharing it with anybody I know. So you all are always welcome to this platform at any time because you ladies all have a lot going on. So before we go into our TikTok moment and say goodbye, I really wanted you all to let us know where we can find you, to stay connected, because this shouldn't be the end. This should be just the beginning. So Kenyatta, let's start with you. Where can they find you on social media or websites? What you have?
Well, I am on all social media as Kenyatta Powers-Rucker. That's Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter.
I'm working on TikTok.
All of it.
I'm out there.
I'm trying with the TikTok thing. I'm new to TikTok, but I'm working on it. And Instagram, and I'm also at my website, KenyattaPowersRucker.com website. So we'll see all the information about the book and upcoming events on the website as well.
Wonderful. What about you, Maria?
And I need to come off of mute to tell you what I'm all about. But yeah, I am on social media as Maria Thorpe on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. You can find my books and things about me on my website at mariavthorpe.com. And of course, if you want to learn how to play chess, to get your mind right, and to be able to do these technological things, come on out to Waldorf Chess Club. And we will be glad to share with you or your young folks as young as age 5 how to play the game of chess, how to strategically think, strategically plan, and build some confidence. Thank you.
I love it. Sabrina.
Yes, it is Sabrina Lowry. You can find me on IG, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter. I love to play in my DMs, so don't be afraid to say hello. It's not always the bot that responds. I code that baby to talk like me, so you never know.
That's right.
Yes. But truly, I want everyone to go to SabrinaLowryEnterprises.com. I want y'all to just comment in the chat, pre-order your book, register for the event, come to all the stops, and we are coming to a city near you.
I am loving it. Dr. Noel, where can we find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Starting with my website, drnoelmubaira.com, and on Twitter, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, IG as Noel Mubaira, as well as Dr. Noel Mubaira. I have business page and personal pages. Come on and send me a friend request. Send me your contact. You can purchase my previous publication. One of them is here. I only mention it because this is Serving Your Way to Success, my personal story about becoming a leader and developing leaders in all areas. So
I love it.
You can reach me and find me, and you'll certainly see me in anywhere in our Philadelphia tour, Atlanta tour. I'll be in Alexandria, so you know.
I love it. Look, these ladies, something big is about to happen.
Yes.
Starting tomorrow. So, Kenyatta, what time? Is it midnight, 12:01, or what time is it that you start with the campaign?
Well, it's officially 11:59, but we were just starting.
Okay.
I mean, at 12:01, but we were starting trying to posting it around 8 a.m.
Okay, 8 a.m. Eastern
Yep.
Standard Time, right?
Yes, Eastern Standard Time. Yep.
Absolutely. So y'all better get ready because it's coming and it exists. There are women out here doing the daggone thing in technology world, and it's time that you knew. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Now you know.
And we will continue to share, all of the shows to remind people, because sometimes people forget. So we're going to remind you that they are representing in a wonderful way. I thank you all for even thinking to come on Lunchin with Lisa, and closing us out for the season. So we got one more show, but that's just going to be to celebrate 3 seasons and make a special announcement. But we're going to have a TikTok moment, and then we're going to come back and say goodnight. But this is just a little something we do with every show, just to give you something to go into the weekend with, so that you have a wonderful weekend and a wonderful next week until you see us again on Thursday. So let's take a break and have a TikTok moment.
Weekend. Of course, I have a quote of the day for you. Little by little, day by day, what's meant for you will find its way. Hang in there. Well, bye, everybody.
So that was my little TikTok moment message. I always try to find something, because I'm a people watcher. So I go out there in them TikTok streets, and they have some interesting things. They have some really motivational things. And sometimes it's the babies who give us the best messages. So take that message, go into the weekend, into next week, until we come up on our last show with Lunchin with Lisa, which is next week. So I would love to see you all there. It's a sad but happy thing, because there's some wonderful things coming. But this is the last show, season 3, the finale, May 11, 2023, same time, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have some special announcements. We're going to be doing some giveaways for those who may want to come to the Power Shut Up. There'll be an opportunity to maybe win and come on and join us, because I don't want you to miss it. So y'all, please stay tuned and check us out. We got one more show. It doesn't mean you're not going to see me, but Lunchin with Lisa is coming to an end next week, and more to come with that. So until we see you next week, have a wonderful week. And again, thank you, ladies, for coming and spreading the news. And I'll continue to do it, and I'll be getting my copy for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.